do a lot of changing directions or stop and start again, or changing tempo. You can see the thought process through their eyes. It was so great.
I really enjoyed, I liked how Jody started and stopped in place. I really enjoyed that.
When you said acknowledge each other, it was hard for me to see that right away, and I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like people sort of were still in their mindset of like, what am I doing? And I mean, you can see them sort of try, but it wasn't exactly clear.
Yeah, I right along with that. What's interesting is how permission begins to take hold. That is to say, I could see people starting to give themselves permission to really be in the space with the other people, and that's when it seemed to be most spontaneous and began to really be a spontaneous thing.
Also, like, you can also kind of see, like, also with the changes that, like, they were going through a thought process, it's almost like they need themselves to have an emotion in order to get to that place. Like, you know, having a running, like, oh my God, someone's behind me, I'm running for my life. But it's like, you know, it's almost like they had an emotional switch. You know, like they got to that place and, yeah.
It's really interesting to see people breathe.
It's interesting to see people breathe.
It's true! It is true!
Oh no, it's interesting to see the breath between tempo changing and starting and stopping.
And for the doers, did you have any?
I'm a big fan of viewpoints as it is, but I just find it's interesting to actually spend that time as an actor to think about, like, what does it mean to move at a 7? What does it mean to move at a 3? How would you know, like, those different paces that you might not always think about. And most of us, when you said speed, went right to fast or right to slow. But what do those, like, in-between speeds mean?
Absolutely. Any other comments about how it felt to do?
Yeah, but I noticed that whoever was it mentioned something about people not acknowledging each other. I noticed that that's pretty much the whole, a lot of the group not acknowledging others in the space. People in the whole group are just straight ahead and not, paying attention to the folks around them. Or if they do make eye contact with somebody quickly, it's just like passing somebody on the street, in a big city where you don't.
Yeah, I feel like
eye contact.
that's absolutely true. A lot of this culture is shutting out a lot of the noise, and what we have to do here is learn how to listen again.
I noticed, having done stuff like this in a much more open space, I felt that in a small space kind of promoted that, because you feel a little more claustrophobic. And when you're trying to respond to everything around you, if everything around you is so close, your response almost is to, that's your response. Be like, no, not going to pay attention. Because if you try to respond to everything, then you end up like I did a couple times, like doing 5 3 6s in a row. Like, this is too much, I need to get away from it.
Well, if you study, like, viewpoints, the first 3 months you spend completely isolated and don't even make contact with other people until, it takes a while. You're supposed to study yourself before you even start to acknowledge that other people are around you.
I think for all of the movement that went on in the enclosed space, I think I only bumped into one person. And that was when I was trying to move real fast.
That's brilliant.
Kirsten, you ruined his perfect record.
Did you have something to say, Sean?
So avoidance is a kind of interaction.
Yes, it's very true. That is a great indicator that you are aware of where other people are. But then the next step is to bring them into what you're doing and do things together.
I found it was just to do the stop and the 180 and then the stop and the 180. It was sort of molecules bouncing.
Yeah.
I agree very much with what you said. I mean, I think it's a lot about being in a city and trying to, we're trying to get to know each other and eye contact, but a lot of us we're not
I just was thinking how, in a certain way, it reminded me of like the opposite of a mosh pit, you know. But at the same time, when, like, for example, you said like you hardly bumped anybody. At one point, Jim over there, he kind of like nudged me, and I knew it wasn't a mistake. It was him sort of acknowledging. And so it was like just that subtle little, like, you know, bit of
I know you.
bump. Yeah. It just it had a whole message with it, you know, and that was kind of neat too.
Interesting. This last one.
Yeah, it's also interesting to imagine what observing that activity would be like if you didn't know what everyone was doing next. Didn't know what instructions were, and if you could figure it out.
Yeah.
Fun thinking, probably.
Well, if you get
I think as we
a
go along.
subway platform around 5 p.m. More ways.
Exactly. But also there are those little stories that are happening. Something that I wanted to point out that happened that was brilliant, and it's something that we're going to go into a lot more, is there was a lot of repetition going on for the ending of the first group's piece. It was, who started that sitting down on the floor? Kate. Kate started it, and then like 5 other people did it, and it was really meaningful. It felt like some sort of, I don't know,
Trend.
it was a trend, or it was a cultural custom, or it was like this is everyone feels the same way, so they're all gonna sit down, and it was great. And then to have that one person stick out and not do something similar but totally different, Jim. You know, that's what. That was great because it gave such power to what you were doing, and also unified everyone else. And then also in the second group, there was this wonderful moment where Lynn started to go backwards fast, and Michelle saw her and started to go backwards slow. And then, or maybe it was the other way around. Lynn was going slow and you were going fast, and then someone behind you started going slow, and it was this great line of action. And there was another moment too that repetition. It's going to come in a lot. We're gonna create a vocabulary of gestures, not gestures. Gestures. Oh yeah, just yeah. But that we're gonna use them as kind of like our physical vocabulary, and we're gonna give a lot of meaning to them. They were actually, even some have developed already for me when I had these conversations with war vets and with guys. That one really huge image came up for me, which was that Henry is like learning how to become a father of England. He's learning to take on the responsibility of his subjects, which are all his children. And one of the gestures that was used in that conversation from somebody who's, I don't even know if he's involved in the play at all, but it was this. Just this. And this can be used in so many ways, but it's the thought and the feeling of carrying something small and delicate. Anyway, so we're going to do more of that. But right now I have to pass you guys on to Lynn, who will be doing some songs. We've got some songs that are Shakespeare put in play, and we've got some songs that we're just going to